everybody, and welcome back to the stream. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class where we shake off the ennui of Wednesdays and, you know, get a little energy going and work through whatever we've been dealing with in the first half of the week. So, hi everybody. I hope that your week is going well. Yeah, it's like my week is going well. It's today I had the really just tragic experience of learning that. So I'm an actor. I've done a lot of theater in my life, and I lived for 6 years in Rhode Island and was pretty heavily involved in the theater scene out there. And learned today that a member of that community, a very well-known, well-respected member of that community, has apparently been preying on young 18-year-olds and abusing his power status as a professor in various universities to do various really horrible things. And that is always a fucking shock when you have to come to terms with that, when you learn something like that about somebody, you know. And we were never like close friends, but we worked together on a few shows, and I certainly always respected his work. And it's just maddening to think that this person was able to move through with impunity through the theater community for so long, working with students and taking advantage of their trust. So after the stream is done, I'm gonna throw some links up on my social media. But I'm feeling that today would be a great day if people have the money and the inclination to donate to Sojourner House, which is an organization in Rhode Island working with victims of domestic violence and sexual assault and sexual violence. They do really great work out there. I've tangentially worked with them through other organizations in the past. And today feels like the day. So I'll throw those links up on Facebook and Twitter afterwards. But if you are, if you're able to throw some money their way, that would be really wonderful. Or to an appropriate charity in your own local community. You know, I obviously in this instance, and because it is such a Rhode Island specific story, event, unveiling, because it is so Rhode Island specific, that's why I went with a Rhode Island specific organization. But you know, there is never a bad time to donate to your local charity or nonprofit or shelter working with victims of sexual violence, sexual abuse, domestic violence. So woo. Yeah, so that's just like really frustrating. And so now I have a lot of energy. So good thing that we're here to do cardio class. Am I right? All right. Hi, Amanda. Yeah, I think today is one of those days where we take stock of where we are at the beginning of class. And at least for me, I have a lot of anger and sadness that I want to work through. So today's going to be one of those days where we just, you know, go pedal for leather. I don't even know what that phrase means. I should look that up at some point. Anyway, pre-class checklist. Woo, woo, woo. If you haven't taken the Wednesday class, don't worry, it's not perpetual motion like the Tuesday class. You don't have to have any hastily gathered items from around your house like the Friday class. And it's not at 9 in the morning like the Saturday class. We're just here to give ourselves good cardio workout and give ourselves some energy to get through the rest of the week. So pre-class checklist, make sure you have water. Yes. for anyone who wasn't here the first time I actually explained this, the short story is that my water bottle I opened my water bottle the other week when I went to fill it for class and discovered that there was a beetle in the bottom of it. And after freeing said beetle outside, I thought to myself, I should probably wash this before I use it again, and then have been supremely lazy and have not washed it. Thankfully, we're working out in our living rooms, which means I can just fill endless pint glasses with water. But I do recommend a water bottle if you have one handy. Just, from if I knock it over, it won't automatically spill perspective. We got our comfy clothes on. We've got our mats set up. And if you use a fitness wearable, now is the time to turn it on to your high intensity interval training setting. I've got my speakers set up, and I've got my timer app not yet open. Hey, here we go. All right, timer app is open. Speaker is on. We've gone through the checklist. It's time to get going. Oh boy, so we are going to start with our warm-up as per usual. So everybody, onto your mats. 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee. You're laying on your back. We're going to do hip rocks and bridges. Start out our warm-up in style. As soon as you hear that horn, hey, there it is. So we are not going pelvic leather yet, okay? We are, in fact, using the warm-up as a true warm-up to turn on all of the systems that we need for exercise. So do not come into this warm-up going, yeah, time to really show them what I got, because first of all, you're alone in your living room and I can't see what's happening. And second of all, if you use up all of your energy in those first 15, 16 minutes of warming up, then suddenly you're not really going to be able to get through the rest of class, huh? So we're warming up. We're, not chilling. We do want to be moving our bodies, but we are not trying to go for maximum energy, maximum power. All right, we've switched sides. We are still doing the exact same thing. One of the things that you may notice when you're doing this particular exercise is, depending on the flexibility of your hip, it may feel easier or harder to do the hip rock because you're bringing your knee towards you, which then brings this entire apparatus towards you as well, which does a really lovely hip stretch, but also means that for the side where your hip is not as flexible, it may feel a little bit trickier to get into position. So if you started doing the other side and went, why does this feel a little weird? That is probably the reason, because we do not have perfectly symmetrical bodies. We have very off-kilter bodies, and it's good to start learning those things. All right, we are on our sides, now doing our leg sequence, starting with our best Jane Fonda. Here we are, trying to keep our bodies in a nice straight line as we do this leg lift, okay? Make sure that you're engaging your core. Here's our first opportunity to really engage our core as a stabilizing muscle group. We used it in the previous exercise as sort of the movement initiating muscle group for that hip rock. Right now we're using it so that we don't go rolling back and forth and we can stay nicely balanced on our hips. We've got our hand helping as well for balance, but if you engage your core, it's going to just make all of this a lot easier. And engaging the glute on the working leg helps you to keep in a nice straight line as well. All right, top foot flat on the floor in front of the bottom knee, and we are now lifting the bottom leg, okay? Oh yeah. So here we are. This position, again, depending on your hip flexibility, may feel easier or harder. You do want that knee going straight up towards the ceiling. This is the aspirational position right here. My foot is flat on the floor. My knee is pointing up towards the ceiling. If you're not there yet, if your knee is sort of caving forward like that, that's okay in this position because we're not putting any pressure on this leg. It's, you know, the standing leg, but it's not taking any weight or anything. It's not as potentially dangerous to have it caving forward, but try to engage whatever musculature you need to in the hips to pull that knee back and try and start that process of getting it to point straight up towards the ceiling. All right. We've now moved that top foot flat on the floor behind the bottom knee, still lifting that bottom leg. This is the last leg exercise on this side before we switch over to the other side. So, woohoo! Then we'll get to do all three of these again before moving on to warming up our hips and our backs. So, this is the easiest, most relaxed position for these three. We're really just chilling here. You know, this foot is in a nice stable position. You're not really having to do anything to keep the knee pointing straight up, so you can really just focus on lifting that leg and sort of examining what muscle groups may be participating in that activity, okay? Because one thing we like to do is actually try to learn more about our bodies, about the ways that our different muscles engage during different exercises, and about the signals that those muscles may be sending us. All right, we're on our other side, back up on our side, and doing our best Jane Fonda. And here we go. In happier announcements, in case you missed it on my various socials, I am very, very seriously planning out starting up a Patreon page for this channel. You know, I love doing these streams, and you know, it's been so amazing to do all of this work and to work with all of you and to sort of see this channel growing and see all of the potential that we have here, and I want to do more. I have lots and lots of ideas. So sorry, it's Wednesday. That's my excuse for yawning. I put up some posts on the various places in social media where I exist, wherein I asked people for feedback, both on like what payment tiers they might like to see, and what types of rewards would be interesting. And I've already got plenty of ideas. To be clear, I am not going to start out with a ton of rewards tiers, because I want to make sure that whatever I am offering is something that's worthwhile and something that I can put the right amount of time and energy into. We are on our last leg exercise, by the by. But that means that I definitely don't want to overload myself with payment tiers right off the bat. So, I'm probably only looking to do 3 or 4 initially. Currently looking at Patreon pages for some of my favorite content creators on the internet and getting some good ideas. But if you have any ideas, any preferences, just find those posts. Facebook, Twitter. I did something in my Instagram stories, so you can go to any of those locations and just shoot me some messages, and we can see what we can do, see what we can build. I'm so excited. All right, and now we are doing our scorpion twist. Oh God, oh man. Every once in a while, when I do that exercise, the very first twist, I'll end up getting a nice pop in my hip, in addition to the amateur chiropractic adjustments that can happen along your spine. So that was what happened there. And I like that sensation. But I've been able to crack my hips fairly easily for decades now. Probably something to do with being a dancer, who knows. But this is our opportunity to start warming up, waking up our backs, which do not get a lot of love if we're sitting all day or if we're standing all day, and thus are going to be very grateful for the movement. All right, imaginary PVC pipes above our heads, and we are doing our nice big torso rotations. Change directions every couple of rotations, okay? And make sure that the movement is being initiated from your hips, okay? So we don't want arm moves and then body torso follows after it. We are keeping the arms in the same position relative to the head the whole time, and then we're just hinging at the hips and bringing our entire torso around in that nice big circle. As you go down through the bottom position, you'll probably feel a nice stretch along your hamstrings. All right, still holding that imaginary pole, we are now doing squats, our first set of squats for the day. Oh joy, oh joy. So let's take this opportunity to check in on our form. So are your knees going straight over your feet at all points? So if you can make it down here with your knees going straight forward, but they try and cave in as you stand up, then you still probably want to narrow your stance a little bit and practice at a smaller stance until you have strengthened enough that you can keep your knees safely over your feet at all points, and then try widening it back out again, okay? So again, form, form, form. All right, cast those imaginary poles aside, and it's time for Samson stretches. Yeah. Oh man. Here we go. So this is my favorite, well, second favorite hip stretch during this warm-up. And you want to keep your pelvic bones pointing forward the whole time, so we're not opening up into like a warrior two from yoga. We are keeping those hips pointing forward the whole time and just letting ourselves sink down into the position, really feeling the stretch along the front of the hip flexor, and then bringing your arms just straight up towards the ceiling. You're not actively trying to reach behind yourself. There's going to be bend in your back naturally, but you're not actively trying to do it. All right. And now we come down here into our nice low, wide squat position. Hands on the knees, again, to help keep them safely over the feet. And we are just holding this squat position while we twist our shoulders in and out. First one in towards the midline, and then the other. All right, so the shoulders are the only things that are moving right now. You're not here trying to come up and down out of the squat. You don't want your knee trying to follow along as your shoulder twists in. My shoulders and my back, obviously, because it kind of has to come along for the ride a little bit. But that's all that is moving while we're here. All right, and now we've reached the cardio portion. Woo woo! So here we are. We're starting out with jumping jacks, and again, we're still not at 100% energy, okay? So we're still warming up. So yeah, now we're moving a little bit more Now, hopefully your heart rate is going a little bit faster. Your breath is starting to come a little bit faster, but we're not doing full movement jumping jacks here. As you can see, I'm keeping my elbows bent, just sort of tapping my fingers above my head. I'm not jumping my feet out particularly far. So this is just to really get us in the headspace for the rest of class. Sort of turn on the last keys to the cardiovascular system and just get ready to go. All right, kick throughs. I tend to be very careful with these for various risk-related reasons. But, so we kick that one leg across the body, standing leg, 90-degree angle, knee pointing up towards the ceiling, and then we switch to the other side. So if you are new to kick throughs, I want you to take it nice and slow. I want you to make sure that you're not letting the knee curve in, cave in towards the midline, and that you're not sinking your butt all the way down here, all right? 90-degree angle. Otherwise, if you're letting yourself sink down or you're letting your knee cave forward, you're gonna be putting some really unhealthy pressure on your knee. And that's not what we want, okay? We want to be protecting our knees. And here we are, the final bit of warm-up. It's burpees. Oh joy, oh joy. So we do a wave push-up for our burpees here. So you jump into that plank and then let the hips down and then the chest and then reverse back to the plank, jump the feet forward and then jump up in the air with a nice victory clap. There is hair in my eye. There we go. So I don't, there are so many different ways to do burpees. This is the way that we do them here, okay? So if you are used to doing them in another class with a plank push-up or just jumping into the plank position, that's awesome, but that is not what we're doing here. But now we are done with the warm-up. Yeah, good job everybody. Make our way back to our water bottles and take a little bit of rest. Yeah. Still can't get the hang of these kick throughs. I'm sort of assuming, since those are, as previously stated, one of the most complex ones. My plan, as I start releasing more videos on the YouTube channel, like form videos and stuff, I will probably, honestly, definitely start with the kick throughs. There's just so, I know, I feel like I sensed the nod, even though, yeah, I can't actually see you right now. They are complex, they have a lot of moving parts to them, and they are, whenever an exercise has a lot of moving parts like that, you want to be particularly sure of your form, okay? So that, I think, will be one of the first ones. I haven't done any of the supplemental videos yet. Well, that's not true. I've done a ton for like my personal clients, all of which I want to redo, but I want to at least glow up the lighting in my space before I go filming some of these, because the outside light is sadly unpredictable, and this room doesn't really have great nighttime lighting. So that's sort of what's been holding me back, although probably I just need to start filming videos, and then once I am able to glow up my equipment a little bit, just redo them, because you know what? You can. All right, hang on. I hope you're drinking water, because I need to too. And speaking of kick-throughs, we're going to get another opportunity to do them right now. So, class today is going to be sprinkled with cardio tabatas. The first one is going to be kick-throughs, but kick-throughs with a twist. Kick-throughs with a wave push-up in the center. Good job refilling that pitcher in the fridge. Yeah, water. Okay, so let me get my phone out of the way. So for the kick-throughs, you'll notice me frequently move my big puzzle piece mats out of the way because the thickness of the puzzle pieces just puts a little too much pressure on my wrists when I do any of those wrist-based exercises. It tends to hyperflex it, and that can lead to weird little pain, twinges, and impact nerves. So just better for me to do it on a flatter surface. But we're gonna do kick-throughs, but as you are switching to the other side, come to the center first, do a wave push-up, and then other side, center, wave, other side, okay? So we're gonna go back and forth like that. Whew, it's intense, all right? So we're taking an already complicated exercise and making it more complicated. So that's exciting. Yikes. Turn on low power mode. Apparently my battery is already not pleased with me. All right. So, timer's about to start. Thankfully, this is a tabata, which means the first sound does not mean go. Yeah, that's our stop sound first. And then we go knock, 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 which means get into position so that you can start as soon as you hear that horn, okay? And so I didn't say this before we started the timer. If you've taken class with me for a while, you probably already know this, but these cardio tabatas are going to be 20 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest. So you are going to be pushing yourself as fast as you can because you only have to go for 20 seconds. And then you get half that time back as rest. So make sure that you are taking advantage of that time to really try and challenge yourself, okay? Make sure that you're trying to push for a little extra speed, a little extra power, and just use this as a good day to challenge yourself. Not as much on stamina, although stamina comes with all of this work, but stamina, we really get to focus in on stamina in, say, our perpetual motion class or a Saturday body weight class. Today is the day to really focus in on, all right, I may exhaust myself a little bit more. I may come out of this class just feeling completely done in, but I am going to come out of this class as well, having really pushed myself for a little more speed and a little more power. All right, so that's what we want to think of today, rather than, we are very much in the sprint mindset today. We are not in our marathon mindset. Yes, you have to have the energy to get through to the end of class, but if you're one of my students who's been here for a while, who's been taking classes for a while, then I really want to challenge you, to challenge yourself, to really push for a little more speed, a little more power, never losing track of the form, and you know how important that is to me, but really see what you can do, see what you can accomplish, see how many reps you're able to get in that 20 seconds. Oh, we're over halfway through, my friends. That's really awesome. We are doing some great work right now. So always remember, if you are new to class, and you haven't heard me say this 10 million times, if this is your first time, or one of your first few times, or you're just coming back to class after a hiatus, then what I'm looking for from you is the bare minimum, and that is starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. So all that stuff that I just said about pushing yourself for speed and for power, if this is your first time here, you can ignore that. I want you literally to just focus on starting when you hear the horn go off, stopping when you hear that ending horn go off, and really focusing on your form. So all of those notes that I gave you about the standing leg and doing that wave push-up in the center, you can really focus in on those things. And if you just focus in on that and on starting and stopping on time, I promise you will get more than enough of a workout for today, and with the added benefit of you'll actually hopefully want to come back, because you know, that's the thing. One class is a trauma. This class is intense, you know. It is it's an intense class, and even just doing that bare minimum is gonna give you a hell of a workout, okay? But if you come in on your very first day and you're like, all right, I'm here, you know, no pain, no gain, I want to look like The Rock kind of a thing, and you push yourself to 120%, and then you feel like you want to die at the end, then you're probably not going to come back. And then all you did was traumatize your body for a day, okay? One class is a trauma. 2 or more is a habit. So we want to be able to build that habit. And in order to build that habit, this has to be something that you and your brain and your body actually want to do. So keep that in mind. If you're just coming back to class, or if you haven't been here before, take everything that I say with a grain of salt, and just remember that if all you focus on today is starting with that horn, stopping with that horn, and doing the exercise correctly, I will be incredibly proud of you. But the gains, oh God, no gains for you. It's not true. Look, oh man, I could expound at length about how just teaching this class has improved and increased my fitness insanely over the last 6 months. But suffice it to say, being kind to your body will also get you the gains, and with the added benefit of being less likely to set yourself up for an injury that then interrupts your fitness training. Okay? Oh my God. All right. Yeah, wood floor, I mean, I've got the fake wood floor, but the point still stands. Any type of hard surface, you do want some sort of padding on. And originally, when I was doing this class, I just had the 2 yoga mats. The problem I was running into with that was that when I was doing core-related exercises, anything that required me to roll on my back, it was not enough padding to prevent me from just getting these huge bruises going up my back, which was awful, and made me not want to do those exercises. So then I got the puzzle pieces, and they make the core work great, but I have to remember to shove them out of the way for anything where I'm up on my wrists. Speaking of, the next thing we're going to do is a perpetual motion set. So 30-second work intervals, and we're starting with a core exercise, my friends. So we're starting with ankle reaches. You know how much I love them. So lying flat on your mat, legs straight up in the air. If you do have to bend your knees a little bit, make sure that you're bending them so that they come towards you rather than bending, keeping the knees where they are and letting the feet go farther away. Because what we're doing for the exercise, we're engaging the core so that it lifts the back and shoulders off the ground, and reaching one hand to the outside of the opposite ankle. And we're just going back and forth like this. So you don't want your feet farther away, because then you can't actually reach them, okay? So if you do have to bend the knees a little bit, make sure your feet are still
going straight up towards the ceiling, all right? Second exercise is going to be a kneel to squat. So the goal of this exercise is to keep your head the same distance from the ground at all points. You'll see why that's relevant in a second. These puzzle pieces keep trying to come apart. Stop it. Bad puzzle pieces. All right. So we're starting in a kneeling position. I'm going to take a little bit of a flat back like this, and you'll see again why in a second. Engaging my core whenever I'm in this type of a flat back to protect my lower back. I am going to let one foot come up onto that foot, then push forward, bring the other foot up, and I'm now in a low squat like this. Then bring that original leg back down to the knee and the other leg back down to the knee. And I'm just going to keep doing that, changing my starting leg each time and keeping my head, again, the same distance from the floor no matter where I am in the exercise. And then our third exercise is going to be side-to-side planks. So up in this plank position, you're going to let your heels come down to the side, come up onto one arm, extend the other arm towards the ceiling, hold here for a moment, let the judges see it, then back through the center to the other side, and we just keep going back and forth and back and forth. All right? So those are our three exercises: ankle reaches, kneel to squats, and side-to-side planks. And remember, perpetual motion set means that we do not rest between sets. Every time that horn goes, you are moving to the next exercise. So on your mats, get ready for those ankle reaches. We're on the floor, legs up towards the ceiling, and that was the horn. So now we're going. Remember too, starting on time always means starting with the horn sound, not with me, because I will get caught up in my own conversation. I may be talking about form for something and not, I'll move to the next exercise, but I won't necessarily think to say anything about it. So your one true signal is always going to be the horn on the timer. So do not ever wait for me to tell you when to move. You want to always go with that timer. All right, I'm going to do my side-to-side planks on the floor. Speaking of, and side-to-side planks, we're not trying to move super quickly. This is a great shoulder strengthening exercise. It's something that I have used a ton for physical therapy for my own shoulder issues, and let me tell you, the difference that I have felt has been remarkable, okay? Here we are, second time through. So we're still doing those ankle reaches. Check in on your form. How does it feel second time through compared to the first time through? Are you having a little more trouble? Are you feeling fatigue in your core in a way that you didn't the first time? All of these things are good things to learn about your body, okay? Because it helps you learn where you are, ability-wise. It helps you learn what signals your body might be sending you with different exercises. It also helps you to learn where are the points where my brain is actually trying to mess with me a little bit. Our brains are wired to protect us, and they do a great job. But one of the things that they like to do in the name of protection is to figure out how to do whatever physical activity is being asked of them with the minimum amount of effort. Okay, so you get into these ruts basically, where your brain is like, okay, cool, I have figured out how to get through this class, and what is the least amount of energy that I need to expend to do it. And as soon as it figures that out, that's when we hit these plateau points that we struggle with, that everybody struggles with. I certainly have. Where you're like, okay, well, I feel like I haven't been able to improve my performance in a while. And part of that is just that your brain has figured out, oh, well, this is all that I need to do to get through class. And it's doing that, but it's not giving you more. So that's when you have to take conscious control back and go, okay, we are going to actually really push ourselves and challenge ourselves today. Because a lot of the gains that you see when you first start an exercise program are neurological, honestly. Your brain is setting down the pathways to be able to do the exercises, and once it learns how to do them, it can move a lot of stuff out of your conscious processing and into your subconscious processing, which is what it wants to do. So you start to see some really great gains as your brain no longer has to put conscious thought towards what you are doing, and then can really push forward a little bit more. But then it'll hit that plateau point where it's like, okay, well, I think this is enough energy that we're expending. And that's when, honestly, we have to bring things a little bit back into conscious processing and be like, no, I am very deliberately going to push myself a little bit today and see what I can do. All right. Yeah. Basic rug and a mat is fine. You know that my mantra is classes that we can do literally anywhere. Because that's where a lot of us get hung up. And then, of course, when a pandemic sweeps the globe and suddenly we're unable to go to the gym, or, even though gyms are opening again, maybe not feeling great about going back to the gym, it is important to remind ourselves and to train ourselves in the belief that you can really do a workout from anywhere, and you do not actually need really special equipment in order to be able to get a really awesome workout. So that's what we're here doing that, drinking water. My God, I'm almost done with this glass already. What that tells me is that I have not drunk enough water today. Yeah. All right, cardio tabata. What is going to be our next cardio tabata? It's going to be mountain climbers, my friends. It was originally double-legged mountain climbers when I wrote this, but I think I just want us to do our regular mountain climbers. So we are in our plank position, shoulders directly over our wrists, so you have that nice perpendicular line, butts out of the air. We are maintaining this even as we start to drive the knees forward towards the chest. So if you start pushing back on against your hands without having your shoulders really locked in and stabilized, then it's going to push you up into this position. So if you find yourself here where your butt's sort of up in the air and your shoulders are way back from your wrists, push your butt back down, and that will help to reset the positioning of everything, okay? All right, cardio tabata. 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. First sound does not mean go. Awesome, awesome. So when that first sound goes, take a second, relax, breathe. Then you hear knock, knock, knock. The point of the knocking sound is to let you get into position, so as soon as you hear that horn go off, you are moving, okay? So that's the goal. It is there to help you with starting on time so that you're not, still dirtling around, maybe drinking water, and then you hear the opening fanfare and go, oh crap, well, here I am, I'm starting only a couple seconds late. You only have 20 seconds to do this. So you want to make sure that you are not missing out on any of that time, okay? Very important. Whew. Oh man, I do like mountain climbers. It took me a long time to be able to say that. And part of it, honestly, comes down to shoulder strength and stamina. Because we don't really do a lot of deliberate strengthening of our shoulders. We don't necessarily think a ton about activating them. And our shoulders are a ball and socket joint. They are designed to be able to move all around. That's their purpose. But there are times when they need to have that strength and that stability. There are a lot of muscles that come into the shoulder, okay? And we want to be able to use those so that if I'm taking that front plank position, I'm not worried that my shoulder is going to go wobbling around anywhere because it's firmly activated and it's right here. So I can be down doing mountain climbers, moving my knees a ton, but I have firmly activated my shoulders and I am able to keep them over my wrists without letting them push backwards and lose that control. So I definitely, and not just because I have this chronic shoulder injury, but because it is a really important area to strengthen that doesn't get enough love. I really recommend thinking about exercises that you can do to really strengthen the shoulders. So the reason I used to hate mountain climbers is because I didn't have that stamina. I didn't have the ability to engage my shoulders and keep them safely over my wrists for 20 seconds. And so I was always exhausted and I felt like I just wasn't good at the exercise because I didn't have the stamina and I didn't have the strength. And you know, it's kind of funny that it took injuring my shoulder and then doing physical therapy for it for me to be able to strengthen my shoulders to the point where now I can do mountain climbers and go, you know, it's never going to be my favorite exercise, but man, do I know that I can do them now. And that feels really cool. Good job, everybody. Grab that water. Woo-hoo. Oh man, it is gorgeous out. It, like Colorado, is clearly slowly moving towards fall. So, you know, a few days ago, Monday, I think it was like 45 degrees in the morning. And I was ecstatic. It barely got up to 70 that day, like 2 days in a row. It barely got up to 70. Even today, you know, it was only in the 70s, like maybe it made it up to 80, but I'm so excited for cooler weather because summer is not my favorite season, I'm not gonna lie. All right, we are going to do another perpetual motion set. This one is going to still be 30-second work intervals, okay? So we are going to do 3 exercises. I don't know why I keep saying that as if we haven't already done this. Here are the 3 exercises. One of them is just going to be push-ups. So you can do your push-ups From a plank, from your knees, you can do a wave push-up. You can plank down and wave back up. Any sort of version of that, I am totally fine with. The main things are, again, shoulders directly over wrists, plank position of the body, and making sure that the elbows stay in by the sides when you go down, so they're not flaring out, okay? That really focuses the work on the triceps. Then our second exercise is going to be skips. So skips, we're just literally skipping in place. Tra-la-la. So every time I lift up one knee, the opposite arm comes up, I hop, and then switch. Super easy. We're not like moving around on the mat at all, just enjoying a nice romp through a beautiful meadow. And then I turned my mat sideways, so you know what the third exercise is? It's traps. So we are moving along the mat by first moving our shoulders, then hips, shoulders, then hips, shoulders, then hips. Oh no, I hit the end of my mat. What do? I start going back in the opposite direction. All right, this is another exercise that takes a lot of coordination. So if you are struggling, turning yourself in a circle, just going, this doesn't feel right, then just start with a small boat rock and visualize every time my shoulders come up, I want to move them in the direction I'm traveling, and every time my hips come up, I want to move them in the direction I'm traveling, okay? All right, so here we go. We are gonna get that timer going. Again, perpetual motion, so as soon as you hear that horn, we will be doing those push-ups. So get ready, get set, and go. And push-ups, you know, we like to assign different levels of difficulty and badassery to push-ups, and it's really silly. You'll notice that I do push-ups from the knees most of the time. Part of that is just I am exerting a little bit of additional energy, just having to talk the whole time and do class, but part of it is just that's the way I prefer to do push-ups. And let me tell you, if you think that I am not getting an excellent arm workout from those push-ups, then you are wildly incorrect. So if you have been over here feeling down on yourself because you've only been doing push-ups from the knees, or you've only been doing wave push-ups, I am here to tell you that you have nothing to feel bad about, and you should instead be proud of yourself for being able to do push-ups, okay? There is literally nothing to be gained from shaming yourself for where you are, what feels good, what your capability is, okay? There's nothing to be gained. And honestly, if we're out here shaming ourselves, then we're making exercise into a really unpleasant activity, into a chore, and then we are less likely to keep with it, you know? I've said it dozens of times and I'll say it again. The best workout is the one you enjoy and can stick with, okay? I don't care what that is. If that workout is going for a 20-minute walk twice a day, then congratulations. You are doing a great thing for your body. You're keeping it moving. You're getting some exercise in, and that's awesome. If that workout is doing this class a few times a week, well, you know I like that because I like getting to work out with y'all. But the point being, I have plenty of friends and loved ones who have never taken this class, or who have taken it, you know, once or twice, and just been like, it's not for me. And that's fine. that is totally fine, because it doesn't do either of us any good for you to be trying to force yourself to enjoy something that you don't really enjoy. And the beauty is that you can find something that you like and can stick with, and you can get yourself moving that way, and then down the line you can come back and be like, I want to give that class a try again, or I want to give running a try again and see how it feels. And maybe you have the exact same experience and you're like, all right, cool, still not something I'm crazy about, and that's fine. Or maybe you try it again and you're like, whoa, I think I like this a lot more than I remember liking it. Maybe I'll keep trying to do this for a bit. So don't ever feel obligated to do a specific class or a specific type of activity. I hear friends and clients and loved ones a lot being like, oh man, I know I should start running, but I just don't like it. I just hate it so much. And I'm like, why do you think you should start running? Like, if you don't enjoy it, then don't do it. It's not going to be something you can stick with if you're going into it going, I don't really like this, okay? So, yeah, best exercise is the thing you enjoy and can stick with. And everybody enjoys things in different ways, okay? So, enjoy does not have to mean I am super passionate about this thing. Because, some people are never going to be super passionate about exercise in and of itself. They want to do it as a tool in their toolbox for a healthy life. And that's awesome. That is so cool. And I commend it. We don't have to all be here being like, oh man, I really love doing 4 minutes worth of burpees. It just really is the most pleasant feeling. No, if your enjoyment of exercise is derived from hitting a new goal or, recognizing that you are accruing health benefits through the regular practice of exercise, then that's awesome. And that's great. That's all you need, okay? We don't all have to be over here being like, oh man, I love exercise so much. We can be like, I love exercise because of what it can do for me, not because of the activity itself. Totally fine. Totally fine. All right, now, let's see here. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do an AMRAP. So I'm gonna start a 5-minute timer. It is not going to be guided by me. And here are your exercises. We are gonna start with a front superhero. Since this is cardio day, I think I'm gonna make you do the pulsed version. So we're lying on our stomachs, arms extended front, legs extended back. Lift, arms, legs, chest off the ground, and lower. Lift, lower, lift, lower. Okay? Second exercise is going to be, I think we're just going to do squat with a knee raise. So we're going to take our feet about shoulder width apart, squat down. As we stand up, bring one knee up, balance on the other leg, then down to the squat, and up with the other knee, and just going back and forth, okay? And then our third exercise, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna have you, in this AMRAP, go between those two exercises. I've never done that for an AMRAP before. So, AMRAP, as many reps as possible. If you've done CrossFit, you've heard that term. I don't use it to mean exactly what they mean. So basically, as soon as this horn goes, I want you to start doing those front superheroes. So lie down on your stomach, get prepped, get ready, and as soon as the horn goes, you are doing your front superheroes. For the rest of this timer, you get to decide when you switch between the exercises, okay? So there's gonna be one horn telling you that you've hit the middle of the 5-minute timer. That's gonna be the only other horn until the ending horn. So you are entirely in control of switching back and forth between exercises, okay? So you have the power. The only things I require, yes, you have to do both of them. Okay? You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to do the front superheroes for 5 minutes. Nope, you have to do both of them. And you cannot stop moving for this entire 5 minutes. So no, like, all right, whoo, here I am. I'm going to rest for a sec. All right, now I'll get started again. No, you are moving for the rest of this timer. It is a perpetual motion timer, just with no set intervals. So the recommendations that I give you for when to switch between exercises, there are sort of two good reasons. One is, and this is legit, if you're going along with an exercise and you're like, well, I can keep going, but I'm feeling kind of bored with this, then go ahead and switch. Go ahead and switch up the exercise. That is totally fine, okay? The other is if you are, if you're going along and you are feeling fatigue to the point where you're like, I don't know how much longer I can actually hang on to the form correctly, then it's time to switch. It's time to switch to the next exercise, okay? So both of these are great reasons to switch between exercises. If, the third reason that we may switch is that we just don't like the exercise. Hey, that was our halfway horn, woo, 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 and I totally get that. But again, you do have to do every exercise. So I'd say make sure you're doing at least 10 reps of each exercise, okay? And if you get to the end of that 10 and you're like, okay, I really do not want to keep going with this exercise, then you can switch. But we do not get better at the exercises that we feel bad at if we don't do them, And I've talked a lot in today's class about exercises that I have felt, really bad about, and like I didn't have a good handle on them in my own fitness journey. So know that I understand. I totally understand that feeling, because everybody has exercises that they love and exercises that they really don't. Everybody. You are not required to love everything that I ask you to do. In fact, I'd honestly be really surprised. But there is still a reason why I give you the exercises to do. So really do make a commitment, make an effort to do those exercises. And from a mental perspective, try not to focus too much on your dislike of certain exercises, recognizing how hard this is, okay? But one of the things I've noticed for myself is I have this mental block around plank-based exercises because of the shoulder stuff that we talked about, because I didn't feel like I had the strength and stamina in my shoulders. And now I do. You know, now I've got that strength and I've got that stamina, but I still have a bit of that mental block too. And so when I do those exercises, I have a tendency to give up on them sooner than I need to or should want to, because in my brain, there's still exercises that I'm not good at, you know? And that is really frustrating for me because it's like, well, but I know I'm good at this now. But I spend a lot of time just really disliking them. And, you know, I say this recognizing it's not always possible. Sometimes we just don't like certain exercises, and that's just how it's going to be, and it's never going to be our favorite exercise, even when we can do it really well. Totally recognize that. Just something for you to think about, you know, just something for you to think about as you are going further in your fitness journey, sort of discovering more about what you like, what you don't like, where you feel strongest, where you feel weakest. Just remember that at some point, that exercise that feels really insurmountable to you may be an exercise that's kind of no big deal. And when that time comes, the less time you've spent hating it, the easier it will be to continue forward in it. Basically. All right, my loves. Oh man. Well, I'd say it's time to round out class with a cardio tabata. And what I want to do, actually, is I want to do our turtle burpees because I love our turtle burpees so much. And again, speaking of engaging our brains, it makes you think a little bit because it is not a regular burpee, okay? So if you've taken class with me, you know that when I say turtle, the first part of the exercise is rolling up onto your shoulders and then rolling up onto your feet. If you can't get up onto your feet through momentum alone, maybe you don't have the flexibility in your Achilles, you can use a hand to help push yourself up. Then we're going to plant our hands, jump back to that plank, wave push up, jump our feet forward, jump up into the air, and back, roll, wave, forward, jump, etc., etc. So just enough different that you do have to think about it a little bit. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. So exciting. Always nice to have to pay a little bit of attention. So cardio tabata, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, 8 times through. This is our final sprint, my friends. This is our final countdown. So we no longer have any reason why we would need to hang on to this energy. So I want you to dig deep and find all the remaining energy in your body, in your brain, and make sure that you are leaving it all on the mat, because that's where we are. We are here. We've made it through an hour of class. We have really kicked our own butts. We have been pushing really hard. It's cardio. We're sweating up a storm. We're breathing in that nice, clean, wildfire-free air from outside. Maybe we're working through some stuff. Maybe you, like me, came into class with a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness. You know, could be something in your personal life. It could be just the state of the world and continued examples of police brutality and the fact that our government does not seem to care that there's a pandemic raging through our streets. You know, there is a lot to be angry about and to be sad about. And sometimes the best way to work through that is to get ourselves on the mat and just say, all right, I can't control everything, but I can control this space and this moment, and I can take this hour and do something really awesome for my body, for my brain. I can strengthen myself so that I have the strength to go out there and to help anyone who needs it. All right, we're here. We're halfway through. We're getting our cheerleaders out, putting them on the floor next to our mats, next to our computers, our TVs, whatever you are using to watch this stream. And I want you to redouble your efforts, all right? We are on the back end of this timer. We've got just 4 more sets to get through, including the one that we are doing currently. So our cheerleaders are going crazy. They're doing their best floor routine because they are so proud of you. They're so proud of you. You have made it through class. You have pushed yourself. You have challenged yourself. You have hydrated yourself. You have sweat. You have, rolled around on the floor on this tiny little space. You have proved to yourself that exercise can be done anywhere. It does not require a gym membership and a lot of fancy equipment and all of that stuff. All it requires is you and you and maybe me if I am a helpful part of your process. But I am so proud of each and every one of you because you know what? This is an intense class. This is not a class that everyone can make it through right off the bat. And if you're here and you're making it through, I'm super proud of you. As we go into this final interval, here we are on our mats. One final time, last 20 seconds, nothing to hold back for. Make sure you are spatially aware enough to not knock yourself into any furniture, but keep going, keep pushing yourself, keep doing that fun pull, and oh yeah. Good job, everybody. It's been a while since I've done that fun melodramatic collapse at the end of a class, but sometimes it just feels like the thing to do. All right. Hey, I think a little bit of stretching is what we want to do now. I try to run a bit of a cool down between class or at the end of class because stretching is a really important thing to do. We like to do active stretching as part of the warm-up. So any of these stretches where I'm not holding the position, I am moving, like our Samson stretches or a scorpion twist. Now is the time for static stretching because we've been moving and grooving. Our muscles are warm and pliable and going to be able to move a little more easily. So let's just start in a butterfly position. Soles of the feet together, right here, just letting your knees fall open. Try to release in the hips. So, if you were paying attention, I had this leg sort of up, and then I went, oh, I'm actually holding in that hip. And as soon as I released it, suddenly it went a lot farther down. So we want to just sort of fold over and stretch out the hips. But I don't want you to just dive forward like that, because that's going to keep your lower back a lot further away from your feet, and it's going to lighten the stretch. So what I want you to do, take a flat back position, walk your hands forward as far as you can go in that flat back, and then when you can't go any farther, then let your upper back curve over. And that way, you just get a little bit closer, fold a little bit more deeply into the stretch. If there's another person in your house, this can be a great stretch to do with another person if they help by putting a knee gently on your back and sort of increasing the pressure. But we can do it just as easily by ourselves. All right, so flat back and walk those hands forward until you can't go any farther in that flat back. Then let your upper back curve over, round over. Shake your head a little bit to make sure that you're not holding in your neck. And every time, we're gonna take 4 deep breaths here. And every time we exhale, I want you to try to sink a little more deeply into the stretch, okay? So 4 breaths, here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Round up. Let your legs come out in front. Just sort of shake your knees out a little bit. And then we're going to take a nice wide position. My mat's going all over the place. That's fun. You want those knees pointing up towards the ceiling no matter where we are in the stretch, okay? So don't let them, as with everything, don't let them start caving in. So what we're going to do is we are going to first turn our shoulders towards one leg, and we're just going to walk ourselves down, fold over that leg, keeping the leg straight. Take a hand, shake out the quadricep, and just make sure that it's still moving around. You haven't clenched it, okay? And we're just here, folded over our legs. And again, we're going to take 4 deep breaths here, okay? We've got our shoulders squared to the leg in question. And 4 deep breaths, here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Now before we come up, take the same arm as leg, bring it to the inside of the leg. So it's just lying on the floor. Open your other shoulder out, up towards the ceiling. Bring this arm just across. You're trying to reach towards your feet. If you flex that foot, maybe you can grab your toes, and you should just feel a nice stretch along the lat. All right? Oh, yeah. We're just going to do 2 breaths here, okay? Here we go. That's 1. And 2. Bring yourself back up. And turn your shoulders towards the other leg. We're going to do all that again. I'm sure my hair looks great right now. So first, folding over this leg, keeping those shoulders squared to the leg. And we're going to take those 4 deep breaths. Each time you exhale, try and sink a little more deeply into the stretch. Ready? Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Now take that same arm as leg to the inside, open the other shoulder up, bring that arm over, really feel that stretch along the lat. If I flex my foot, maybe I can grab my toes. And 2 deep breaths here, okay? Here we go. That's 1. And 2. Whew. All right. Now let's just come to both legs extended out in front of us. And we're just going to fold over. Okay, so I'm going to do that same thing where I sort of take this front flat back forward, as far as I can, then let myself fold over again. Check on the quads. You don't want them to be like clutched and hanging on. You want them to be nice and relaxed, okay? And we're just gonna take 4 deep breaths here, all right? Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. All right, my friends. Woo! I think, yes, watch, I think we have ended our workout. Good job. All right. Oh, gosh. Hopefully I'm not too covered. Hey, there we go. I found a space where I'm not covered in lines from the sun. Oh, good job, everybody. Oh, man. I just love doing class with you. And I love this Wednesday class, honestly. You know, it's nice to have something to pump us up. You're absolutely welcome for class. It's nice to have something to pump us up in the middle of the week and just get all that energy going, get that blood flowing. I really enjoy it. Hey, and that's awesome. Yes. You know I'm proud of you. That's all I ever want, you know. I will say a lot of stuff to push and challenge because that's part of my role as a teacher. But also, you know where you are, you know where your body is. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If the goal, if the success criteria for today was just do as much as you can, and you did that, awesome. That's awesome. You should be really proud, okay? Always proud. The warm-up is a great place to start. You know, if you want to do class and you're not quite feeling ready for all of class, just trying to do the warm-up on a regular basis. I mean, that's a solid 16 minutes. It gives you a really nice pump up, including a little bit of cardio at the end there. Gives you some nice stretches, gives you a brain teaser of an exercise with the kick throughs. And that's a great place to start. And that's going to be one of the first videos that I put up on the YouTube channel as well, is just a video dedicated to that entire warm-up sequence, so that, you know, if you're new to class or if you are just, you know, looking for a little more information on it, because I don't always have the time during class to really dig into it, that'll be where that'll be. But oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. There's so many things that I want to do, my friends. So many things that I want to create and show you. And yeah, I'm really excited. So thank you all so much for being here. We've got 2 more classes this week. Friday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, we've got Functional Home Fitness, which is our weight training class using objects you can find around your house. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m., also Mountain Time, we've got the Weekend Kickoff, which is awesome bodyweight, strength and stamina focus class. Just a really nice way to start your weekend, right? You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook and Insta at Blanche Case Fitness, Twitter at Blanche C Fitness. All the VODs from this channel are uploaded to the YouTube channel, and obviously I've talked a lot about the other content that I want to make for that channel, so definitely head over to YouTube, Blanche Case Fitness, subscribe to that. And if you are financially able to pass me a donation for class, want to help me keep making these streams, I do currently have a coffee account, Ko-Fi Coffee. Anyway, it's Blanche Case Fitness over there. And as I said at the beginning of class, plans are in motion to start up a Patreon. So if you have any opinions on tier levels and rewards and stuff like that, stuff that you would enjoy receiving as a reward for Patreon for these streams,
then please let me know. And last but certainly not least, if you enjoyed yourself, you want to do more class, you want to help me keep growing this channel, then please do follow this channel, because obviously big things are in the works, and I'm so excited to share them with you. So yeah, have a great rest of your night. That's the nice thing about the 4:30 class, is there's plenty of time left in the day. And maybe I will see some of you back here on Friday. Mwah! Have a great night.